Welcome to the grand final of the inaugural Brentwood International Music Competition. This is a very exciting milestone in the development of Brentwood music. I hope you will all agree after you've been through this evening with us. And in January of this year, this didn't exist, not even in concept. So we're very, very proud that we've been able to make this a reality in 5 months. And we hope you agree that the level of finalists who you'll hear this evening is absolutely astonishing. We hear an awful lot as music educators about the declining state of music education in the world. And I hope tonight restores your hope that that is not always the case and that Brentwood will remain a bastion of great music making. It's my extreme pleasure to be able to welcome our esteemed panel of adjudicators, adorned resplendently at the back there in very flattering lighting, I'd say. On the left, we have Gerard Lefevre. Gerard is a cellist, a composer, director of the King's Chamber Orchestra, a wonderful, I know, exponent of youth music and a true philanthropist in his own right. And we're very pleased to have you here, Gerard. Thank you very much. On his right, a man who clearly needs no introduction in these walls, Grieg Kuchik. Grieg joined us 5 years ago now. 4 years ago now, and has made a huge difference to the musical life of Brentwood School. A wonderful violinist who, in fact, benefited from a very similar thing in his youth, moving to the UK on a bursary to attend Whitgift School in his sixth form years, which was a wonderfully transformative experience. Grieg has been a driving force behind this entire competition, and he is, as you know, a very great man. Grieg Kuchik. Along to the right, the wonderful Vanessa Latage, head of keyboard at the Royal College of Music since 2005, one of the most renowned pedagogies of the piano in the world. Apparently, I've just learned, an avid cruiser, and has the dubious pleasure of teaching our chairman here the piano, which means that she really is multi-talented. It's absolutely remarkable that we're able to have someone of Vanessa's experience here tonight. Vanessa Latage. And our final adjudicator, many of you know because she's been an adjudicator for us before at a very different competition, house music. But we have enjoyed now for 5 years. Let's go with 5. Is it 5? Yes. A partnership with the junior department of the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, which has brought so much to the students of this school. And Rosie is the head honcho of the junior department of the Guildhall School of Music, but she is much, much more than that, a fabulous musician and adjudicator. And it is my opportunity and my great privilege, Rosie, this evening to thank you publicly for the hours of counsel you've given us as a school, as a department, and me as a person, for which I will always be tremendously thankful. Rosie Whitfield. I won't speak for much longer, I promise you. This is about music, it's not about me. But, I've got you now. So January came, we went to see the old headmaster, presented this wacky idea. He sort of said yes, he didn't really commit, but we went ahead anyway. Didn't really think we'd get anyone. 3 months later, we had 30 applications of the most tremendous musicians from literally around the whole world. Australia, America, India, all of Europe, the South America. It was just fabulous. And we have the unenviable job of cutting that down to the 7 musicians you will see performing this evening. Many of those who didn't make it were simply astonishing. So those who are performing tonight, that is a competition win in its very own right, and they should all be lauded for that. We're going to have 5 live performances this evening from those who were able to join us in person. There were 2 competitors who, because of timescales and logistics, were unable to join us. That's Gabriella, who lives in Bolivia, and Veronica, who lives in Sydney. They have recorded this week their final performances, which will be reviewed by our adjudicating panel. They'll be treated exactly the same way as every other competitor. You will watch a very short extract of their performance this evening, hence the screens. But we won't watch their whole performance, but please rest assured it will be fully reviewed by the panel. This evening is a competition. There will be prizes awarded, a first prize, a second prize and a third prize. And in the subsequent weeks, the school will award a grand prize for that competitor who we wish to make an offer for a full bursary at the school. So, I think I've said enough. I'm going to hand you over to the wonderful Mr. O'Leary, who's going to introduce our competitors this evening. Needless to say, we hope you have the most wonderful night. I certainly intend to. Please be the most respectful and wonderful audience. This is some of the finest music making we believe has ever happened in Brentwood. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Cooper has just said, it is my immense privilege this evening to be introducing our wonderful finalists and telling you a little bit more about them before they do their fantastic recitals. Now, you can read some background information about each in your programs, but I can say personally, having met many of them throughout the day and having reviewed their preliminary round submissions, we are in for something quite special. But as Mr. Cooper alludes to, you've had enough niceties. I think what you really want to hear is me struggling to read the names of some composers that they're going to perform, so I think we should just get on with that. So our first competitor, Alp, is a pupil at King's College, Wimbledon, and is also the first of 3 finalists who studies at the Junior Guildhall School of Music and Drama, learning piano with Sheila Sutherland in addition to oboe, violin, and composition. He achieved his ARSM diploma last year at the age of 12, and when he is not wowing audiences in performances, masterclasses, and competitions both here and abroad, he can be found swimming, playing chess, and a good thing to work in when they're in the audience, spending time with his family. Here to perform works by Schumann and Berg, would you please give a very warm welcome to tonight's first and youngest competitor, Alp. fantastic start to tonight's proceedings. Thank you so much. That was absolutely sensational. Our next performer is Kate, who began her career as a violinist at the age of 3 and started learning the piano just 2 years later. A former member of the junior music program at the Hong Kong Academy for the Performing Arts, Kate has claimed the top prizes for her performances at festivals in Hong Kong, Ealing, and North London, and dreams of one day being a professional concert violinist. Our second finalist to be a student at the Junior Guildhall, where she learns with Itamar Rashkovsky, and here to play works by Ube, Bach, and Bazzini, accompanied by the competition pianist, Mr. Simon Lane. Would you please give a warm welcome to Kate? Thank you to Kate. To be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure what to say after that, which for those of you who know me is an extremely rare occurrence. I mean, it had excitement, it had Mr. Lane breaking the piano stool. I mean, what more did you want? What I will say is that I already know that our panel is going to have an incredibly difficult decision from hearing two performances alone so far. So we're going to make it harder and introduce our third finalist now, which is Yoko. So Yoko is a cellist who is currently a student at the Purcell School for Young Musicians, where she learns with Ben Davies, a previous winner of the David Ferguson Memorial Prize for Young Cellists, former principal cello of the National Children's Orchestra, and having given recitals at venues such as the Royal Academy of Music, Westminster Abbey, and St. John Smith Square, Yoko also attends the Junior Guildhall, where she learns piano and composition. If that wasn't enough, she has been selected for masterclasses with figures such as Sheku Kana-Mason, Louise Hopkins, and her original composition, Aurora, was included as part of Batalhanas Brasileiras 3, released to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the Sao Paulo Week of Modern Art. Following Yoko's performance, there will be a short interval of 20 minutes where refreshments will be served in the tuck shop, so if you could please make your way out of the two doors in which you came in. If you're unsure, please just follow a member of staff or Pri in the lovely blue gowns. They will be sure to show you where to go. Before them, however, to perform music by Elgar and Beethoven, would you please welcome Yoko? Next up, we have Marina, who started the clarinet at the age of 7 and has played with a whole host of prestigious and diverse ensembles such as the National Children's Orchestra and National Youth Band, and is currently the principal clarinetist of the Bromley Youth Symphony Orchestra. When not dazzling audiences in competitions such as Essex Young Musician, Rotary Young Musician, or the Coulsdon Festival, she might be found playing the violin, on which she also holds grade 8 with distinction, practicing her E-flat clarinet, which was awarded to her by the Cherubim Music Trust, or working towards her grade 8 singing. Now, those of you who know me will know I'm biased when I say I'm sure we would all love to hear her sing, but that being said, I am delighted that we are welcoming her as the first of 2 Woodwind finalists tonight. Performing works by Robard and Rossini, please welcome Marina. ladies and gentlemen, we have come to our last competitor. Right, remember that conversation we had about 2 minutes ago about audience participation? Let's try that once more. We have come to our last competitor. But, just wait a second. Someone's happy. It promises to be something incredibly special. Corey began the violin in his native Ukraine, where he studied at both the Kharkiv and Kyiv specialized music schools, and has previously claimed the top prizes at the Leonin Kolgan International Competition and the Ubai competition for young violinists. He has been a student under Akiko Ono at the Yehudi Menuhin School since 2022, and will shortly be coming onto the stage to end this portion of tonight's proceedings in a performance of works by Wieniawski and Britten. Before then, however, a quick reminder that there will be another short interval of 20 minutes after Corey's performance, thank you, it's really what it's all about, for some more refreshments again in the tuck shop, and we would be most grateful for a prompt return in advance of tonight's special guest performances, but more on that later. For now, would you please give a very warm welcome to our last finalist in tonight's competition, accompanied by Miss Miho Kawashima, Corey.
before we move on to the award ceremony, we have something very special for you. And just before that, I want to really take a moment and thank our wonderful finalists. It's been absolutely wonderful tonight. Thank you for sharing. Bela Bartok famously said that competitions are for horses, not for artists. But I hope you all agree with me tonight that this was much more than just merely a contest of agility and how fast one can play. It was real, generous sharing of beauty and music, and I hope you all really enjoyed that. So, thank you. This competition is a very exciting new venture for us, and it flows out of the specialist music program that has been inaugurated recently. And this exciting progression of music at Brentwood wouldn't have been possible without students who inspire us. And for our next guest performance, we have Tom Hodgkinson, who's flown in from Austria, from Vienna yesterday. He's an old boy here, and he's a very special musician. He's a classical guitarist, and it is because of students like him that this is actually possible, that the school has seen that there is real value in helping and nurturing real talent here. He'll come and perform something, and he'll also be joined by someone who's currently a member of the specialist music program here in year 10, Rose Bugle, and they have prepared for you something special. So please welcome Tom Hodgkinson.
say after such an incredible evening of music making, it's really an honour to have been invited back to represent the school as an old Brentwood. I'm just going to play a couple of short pieces for you, something to kind of bring the mood down a little bit, something a bit more introspective. Hopefully this is the tonic you require right now. The piece I just played was the Largo from Bach's Sonata for solo violin in C major. Beautiful piece. Works surprisingly well on the guitar. The next piece I'm going to play is also an arrangement, and it was originally written for the piano. And this piece is incredibly beautiful. It's from the Spanish impressionistic kind of genre by Isaac Albéniz. This piece is called Evocación. I think you can take from the title what you will about the piece. It's very beautiful. I hope you'll enjoy. After this, I'm going to be joined by Rose Buggle, a student of the school, and we're going to play some really nice duets together, and then we will finish with the announcements of the winners. So I hope you enjoy this next piece.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rose Buggle, and alongside Tom, after such beautiful guitar playing, I would like to perform Du bist die Ruhe by Schubert. This is a German song translating to You are repose and gentle peace. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. For our next piece, we would love to perform to you Habanera from Carmen. I hope you enjoy.
Privoise, e se piano ancora sous prière, un peu la bien, l'autre c'est elle, c'est l'autre que je préfère. Il n'a rien dit, mais s'il me plaît. L'amour est enfant de bohème. Il n'a jamais connu de loi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Si je t'aimais, prends garde à toi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Mais si je t'aime, si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. L'oiseau que tu croyais se prendre bâti de l'aile, il s'envola. L'oiseau te peut l'attendre, tu l'attends, puis s'il le tourne tout de toi vite, vite, il vient s'en va, puis s'il le tu crois le tenir vite, vite, tu crois le vite, il te tient. L'amour est enfant de bohème. Il n'a jamais connu de loi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Si je t'aimais, prends garde à toi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Mais si je t'aime, si je t'aime, prends garde à toi.
Well, Tom and Rose, thank you very much for those exceptional performances, bringing things to a close this evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Headmaster. What a fantastic evening it has been. It has just been a joy to listen to all the performances, and what a privilege to hear such amazing talent. I think a round of applause for all of them. Now, it's a huge pleasure for me to be here, both as Chairman of Governors, but also as an old Brentwood. And one of the reasons it's such an honour for me is because of the part that music at Brentwood School has played in my own life. It's been absolutely central to my life ever since I first picked up a recorder at the prep school and discovered the joys of making music and participating and singing and listening. And how wonderful it is to see the man who put that recorder into my hands, John Hatt, here tonight. John, generations of musicians who passed through Brentwood owe you a great deal. And music has certainly been my life's companion ever since then. And today it's now my privilege as well to chair the Royal College of Music, and what a delight it is to have my colleague Vanessa Latarche with us. Now, of course, when I was a pupil, the school here was much smaller, and my colleague on the governing body, Bruce Evans, will remember that too. And music was probably a little bit peripheral, if truth be told, to the school's life. Orchestral concerts used to be done in here with a bit of a smaller audience than there is tonight. And indeed, even the house music competition, which is now such a huge event, was squeezed into here. But over the decades, I've watched with pride and deep admiration as music and the performing arts have grown in stature and influence of Brentwood to the point where it's now absolutely central to the school's life and reputation and enriches us all as a community. And I believe we now have one of the finest music departments in the country, with a superb staff led by Mr. Cooper, nurturing increasing numbers of incredibly talented young people. And that amazing journey continues tonight with the establishment of this international music competition, which underlines Brentwood's commitment to music, to excellence, and to future talent. I know that I and all the governors are indebted to Mr. Cooper, to Mr. Kuchik, to Mr. O'Leary and all their colleagues for putting together this evening and for the leadership they've shown in putting Brentwood's music on the map. Now, I'm passionate about music education because of the crucial role music plays in shaping young minds and the pleasure it gives us all. But tragically, as we all know, the decline of music in so many state schools means that increasingly young people are not being given the life chances that I had, with enormous consequences for the long-term cultural life of our nation and for the creative industries. And that's why, one of the reasons why it's so vital that independent schools like ours continue to champion music, to promote excellence and to nurture the next generation of musicians and help sustain the pipeline of talent that makes the UK such a remarkable international success story in music and the creative industries. And that is genuinely why competitions like this are so important. Now, I'd like to thank the judges for the incredible role they've played tonight. They've had almost as complex a job as the conclave, which is just completed in Rome, but they did it in a slightly quicker time. And I'd like, Headmaster, where are the puffs of white smoke? Because we want them coming from somewhere. Thank you all for being here this evening, for the authority that you brought to this and for the job that you've done in judging this. And I'd like to congratulate everybody who's taken part this evening, including those who are not here with us, for the superb performances. The truth is, you're absolutely all winners, and more to the point, music's the winner by having your talent available to us. I'd like to ask the judges now if they would very kindly join me up here, because having said that you're all winners, I'm afraid only one person can get the first prize. So, for the third prize, and I'd like you very much to come up and collect a certificate, we have, ladies and gentlemen, Yoko Affy. In second place, and I know, by the way, how complex this was, how difficult a decision it was for the judges, but in second place we have Kate Bly. And very, very difficult decision, though it was, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's the first prize in the first Brentwood International Music Competition goes to Corey Shelginov. I did say you're all winners, and the judges wanted highly to commend Alp and Marina. Please join us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our first international music competition. And I would be grateful if you could just join me in a round of applause for our judging panel.
Sorry, it's not quite over yet. It says closing remarks, so closing remarks there will be. I won't keep you very long. I'm aware that I'm standing between you and the end of, certainly for our performers and many of my colleagues, a very, very long day. As a history teacher, I do feel it incumbent to just say, particularly to those guests and our competitors who are less familiar with Brentwood than many in the room that you are in is called the Memorial Hall, and there's a plaque on the wall there, or an inscription on the wall that talks about this room being dedicated to the young men, former pupils and colleagues of school who gave their lives in the First World War. And it seems apt to mention that on the 80th anniversary of VE Day today. It's also the room where there are 7 portraits of headmasters from the late 1800s all the way through to my immediate predecessor. And the reason I mention that is because, Mr. Cooper, they are the old headmasters, not me. Someone as young and sprightly as myself being referred to as the old headmaster. I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, but I mention that for an important reason, and I mean this with all sincerity. This room has been in operation, as Lord Black said, for over 100 years, and just think of the thousands of hours of concerts and plays and shows that have been in this room. And when I sit listening to talented young people like yourselves, I often think of the walls and those portraits and the hours that they have absorbed of wonderful music making in this room. And with this being the very first, hopefully of many, annual international music competition, I say with no hint of exaggeration that you have added a rich layer of music making to these walls that we won't forget. So I think, again, you've had lots of plaudits, rightly so, but I think you deserve another round of applause. Not least, a huge thank you to our judges for giving up your valuable time. We really appreciate you making this what it has been. To all of the people who have made this evening work, it takes a huge number of people to put something like this together in such a short space of time. So people behind the stage, our accompanists, people on the stage, a huge thank you. And I'd like to finish, Mr. Cooper started the evening by saying that this all began as a concept in January. And the number of meetings that we've had with Mr. Cooper, Mr. Couches, Mr. O'Leary, and every time they have said, we're not really sure we can do this. And I promise you, gentlemen, I promise you there wasn't a moment of doubt in my mind that you would pull this together, because that's what we do here at Brentwood. It's the art of the possible. I think it was Henry Ford who said, if you believe that you can or you believe that you can't do something, then you're probably right. And from the get-go, despite their protestations, they knew they would pull this off, and they have done in some style. And I'd like to thank and pay public tribute to my colleagues in the music department for putting on an extraordinary evening. Thank you very much.